Hello, hello, y'all. I am so excited to be here. My name is Floyd Jones, and I will be taking you through the Amplify Impact stage at FAI Global Summit over the next 2 days. Y'all, I am calling from New York City, and I am so excited to be here. Where are y'all coming from? I have been blown away, okay? If you have been seeing this chat, we got people here from Mumbai, India. Come on, somebody. I'm seeing Alicia's in the house from St. Louis. I've seen people from my second hometown, Cape Town, South Africa. Don't worry, y'all. I kind of self-proclaim that as my second hometown because I love it so much. But where else is everybody coming from? Montreal is in the house. I saw somebody from Calgary in the house. Y'all, I was just in Calgary, okay? I was just in Alberta a couple months ago. I went to Banff. Okay, I love me some Banff. Where else are we calling from? I'm seeing Norfolk, Virginia in the house, Knoxville, Tennessee. Okay, Nathan is backstage. He's from Tennessee, just told me. Nairobi, Kenya in the house. Come on, somebody. I got Olga from the DMV. That's where I grew up. Come on, somebody. Where else? Brooklyn in the house. Come on, bro. Brooklyn in the house. I'm calling from Washington Heights in New York City. Okay, Uptown. Princeton, New Jersey's in the house. Maui, Washington, D.C., Atlanta, Georgia. Who else we got? Adrian from where? I see a, hold on now. This is going so fast. Sudan. Come on, Ahmed. Come on now. Rachel from NYC. Rachel, you want to do a viewing party? I got a whole office over here. Come on. Niagara Falls. Toronto's in the house. Y'all, this is incredible. And it is just going to show how powerful FAI really is, okay? This truly is a global summit. We have global power. And guess what? All together, we are going to make some global impact, okay? If you are excited and you are ready to learn, I want to see ready in the chat. Who is ready? I want to see all capitals. I want to see emojis. I want to see who is ready in the chat. Let's see it. Babe, ready. Come on now. Who else is ready? Katie's ready. Jennifer's ready. Sabrina's ready. Who else is ready? Anthony's ready. Stephanie's ready. I love to see it. Well, y'all, I am ready too. And I am so excited to spend these next 2 days with you. Okay? Welcome to the Fundraising.AI Global Summit, Amplify Impact. Okay? Y'all, I am your host, Floyd Jones. As I mentioned, I'm calling from New York City. I'm a speaker, coach, founder, and y'all, these next 2 days, I'm a fellow learner with you. Okay? I'm a fellow learner with you. I am ready to amplify my impact just like each and every one of you is today as well. Okay? I know you know this, but I want to make sure it's clear. AI is powerful. But it's you, the humans behind it, who make it meaningful. Y'all, I always say AI ain't I, okay? AI ain't I, all right? But AI can help me become a more full version of myself. It can take everything that I'm doing to the next level, and it can turn my mission into a movement. Come on, somebody, all right? This summit is all about centering people, not just technology. And over the next 2 days, we're going to show you how to use AI responsibly to save time, deepen connections with your supporters, and amplify the good you can do in the world. Okay? So get ready to lean in, take notes, and be inspired because together we're unlocking the future of fundraising. And I'm so excited. We have 2 days, 63 sessions, and over 90 speakers, and endless opportunity to learn and connect. And we'd love for you to be a part of the conversation. Share your top takeaways and light bulb moments on social. Tag Fundraising.AI and use our hashtags Fundraising.AI, Generate Good, and Responsible AI so we can celebrate with you and keep the conversation going. Yo, I want you to do me a favor, okay? I'm seeing this chat go in crazy. Brady just said energy goals. I love that. Come on, somebody. Yo, if you are learning something powerful in these sessions, I want you to do me a favor. Take it online, okay? I always learn something. If you learn something good, pass it on, okay? The only way our world is going to change, the only way we're going to conquer the fear that people are feeling around AI, the only way that we're going to amplify our impact is if we pass it on, okay? Share the message, share hope, tag somebody, bring somebody, okay? Because together we are stronger, right? We are stronger together. Come on, somebody. All right, let's keep going. You know me, don't worry, y'all. I get excited, okay? Y'all, also, closed captioning is available. Come on, inclusivity, all right? Just navigate to the bottom right of the stage and you'll see the CC icon. Click turn on closed captioning and select your preferred language. We also have a jam-packed schedule, okay? Over the next 2 days, you can view the schedule in our reception area to see which sessions are coming up. Bookmark the ones that you want to attend the most. And now you can actually click schedule in the upper right corner and you'll see all the sessions coming up. And you can join any sessions that are live, okay? So AKA bookmark the ones where you're gonna see my face. No, I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, make sure you plan ahead because I do not want you to miss anything good coming up over the next 2 days, all right? And did you know we have lounge sessions? I always say it's going down in the lounge, okay? It's going down in the lounge, y'all. After many of our sessions, some of your favorite speakers are sticking around to the lounge to continue the conversation. You're gonna get the chance to chat in a small group setting with your favorite speakers and connect with fellow attendees. And y'all, some of the best, most engaging learning happen in the lounge, okay? That's why I say it's going down in the lounge. You can turn your camera on, you can go off mute, okay? You can actually talk to your people face to face, all right? If that's not good, I don't know what is, all right? So make sure you check out the lounges, and I found out how you can get there, right? Once you go back to the reception area, you're gonna be able to see a lounge button at the top right here, okay? Make sure you click on it and hang out with the people when your favorite session is over. Now, we're gonna talk about a code of conduct, okay? Because we're gonna make sure that this is a good environment for everybody, okay? So before we dive in, a quick note on this code of conduct. Fundraising.AI is committed to creating a safe, respectful, and welcoming space for everyone here. Come on, somebody. Harassment, discrimination, or intimidation of any kind will not be tolerated. I don't know if y'all know our good sis, Mary J. Blige, where she said no hateration in this dancery. Okay, we're not having that here today, okay? Please treat everyone with professionalism and respect so we can all focus on learning and connection. Just a quick aside. Okay, don't cut me off, I'm gonna go off script, but y'all, I don't know if you turn on the news lately, but it is crazy out there. It's looking scary outside. That's why we're creating safe environments like this one. That's why we are creating inclusive spaces like this one, okay? We get to set the standard in the world. We get to be different in the world. We get to actually say, hey, we are gonna welcome every single person with open arms. Here you belong. Here you can be safe. Here you can be accepted. Come on, somebody. So think twice when you go ahead and chat. And I want to see affirmation. I want to see love. I want to see working together in that chat. Can y'all do that for me? Okay, can y'all, come on somebody. Diana, you get me. You get me. Thank you, all right? If you experience or witness anything concerning, DM the producers here in AirMeet or email summit@fundraising.ai. Let's work together to make this an inspiring and inclusive experience for us all. All right, y'all. Now, I got to give it up for these sponsors, okay? Do you see the names on this? This ain't a calm list, okay? This is a stacked list, okay? We got Giving Tuesday, we got AWS, we got Microsoft. Listen, I can't even go ahead and read them all because it's just so much greatness on this one slide, all right? But we want to take a moment to thank the incredible community of sponsors who are leading the movement for responsible and beneficial AI in our sector. Because of their support, this learning experience is completely free. Okay, can you say free is for me? I don't know about you, but free is para me. All right. They're making it free to attend, and our recordings, resources, and content are all free and accessible year round. Okay. Be sure to visit the sponsor booths located in the top navigation. Right where it said lounge, there's gonna section that says booth. Make sure y'all stop by one of these sponsors, okay? Don't let them come back and say, ain't nobody popped over. You better pop on over, okay? You got a lot of time. I'm giving you 2 whole days, all right? That's 48 whole hours, okay? Go over there and check out a booth, get you a little pamphlet or something, okay? And say thank you for making this accessible and free, okay? And I want to do a particular shout out to our presenting partners, Virtuous and Giving Tuesday, okay? Thank you to our presenting partners, Giving Tuesday and Virtuous. Giving Tuesday, in case you didn't know, is the global movement inspiring generosity every day everywhere, okay? Yo, Giving Tuesday, they're giving more than just Tuesday, okay? They're giving resources, they're giving workshops, they're giving toolkits, they're giving joy, okay? And they're doing that all around. Yo, I'm the host who gives you the most from coast to coast, okay? Come on, somebody, I just made that up, come on now. But Giving Tuesday, they do that as well, all right? So we want to say thank you to Giving Tuesday. And Virtuous is the responsive fundraising platform helping nonprofits build meaningful supporter connections and grow impact with confidence, okay? Their partnership ensures this event and all of this learning, like I said, is for free, okay? We're so grateful for their investment in helping you amplify your impact. I know they popped up some little buttons, so make sure you check them out, okay? Also, can we give a second for Summit Plus? I'm not going to say that this is Summit Minus. It is not, all right? It's a Summit Baseline, but we have something called Summit Plus. Come on, somebody, okay? So the biggest question we hear is, so I learned all this good stuff. So what am I supposed to do on Wednesday? Okay, what am I supposed to do on Wednesday, right? How do I take everything I learned and put it into action? Well, y'all, that is why we created Summit Plus. Okay, Summit Plus. Thank you. Come on, somebody. All right. After the summit, you can choose your path. Okay, path 1. Join a 3-week AI immersion. 3 weeks. Come on, somebody. We giving you 2 days. They're giving you 3 weeks. All right. Either the leadership track or the capability track. Plus, get unlimited AI Spark sessions for a whole year. That's 365 days. All right. With the support of the Mission First AI community. Or if you're just testing the waters, you want to just poke your head in and out, okay? Then you start with an AI Sparks annual pass, all right? It is stacked with resources, over $5,000 in value, $5,000, all right? But some attendees, you get it for just $665 until September 16th, okay? Seats are limited, so reserve your spot today, all right? Reserve your spot today. Let's keep this party going, all right? Okay, Amplify Engagement Challenge. Y'all, we don't want you to just come on here, log in, check out the speakers, log off, drink your coffee, go about your, no. This is not business as usual. We said we don't want to just amplify impact, we're gonna amplify engagement too, okay? We want you to get the most out of this summit and have some fun along the way, which is why we launched the Amplify Engagement Challenge. So here's how it works. The more you engage, the more points you earn. Do y'all see in the little chat, when you look on the right-hand side of your screen, okay, there's a little trophy button up there, okay? That is the leaderboard. If you want to be the leader, if you want to be in charge, if you want to take the lead, come on, somebody, then you gotta do the things, all right? So the more you engage, the more points you earn. Attend sessions, ask questions, join lounges, respond to the polls, okay? And watch your score climb to the top. I do something called Apple Fitness. They are not a sponsor, but I just love them. And they have something called, they have a leaderboard right there, or maybe you do Peloton. Climb to the top, y'all. We're gonna let you climb to the top here, okay? Top scores are gonna win prizes like free lunch, coffee, books from some of the best speakers in the house, okay? All designed to help you keep learning and amplify your impact. So don't just watch, jump in, participate, and make your mark in the Amplify Engagement Challenge, all right? Okay, friends. This is the part where the rap breaks down, okay? In the words of our good friend Eminem, this is the part where the rap breaks down, okay? Because we have 2 of the best kicking off this session and setting the tone for the next 2 days, okay? First up is Mallory Erickson, the co-founder of Fundraising.AI and the founder and CEO of Practivate, aka she gonna found something, okay? In case you were wondering, she gonna found something. She's gonna make something happen, okay? Period. All right. She's also an executive coach, fundraising consultant, and host of the What the Fundraising podcast. She is dedicated to transforming the nonprofit sector by helping fundraisers move beyond transactional approaches to building lasting, mission-aligned partnerships. Come on, alignment, hello. Through her Power Partners formula, Mallory has trained over 60,000 fundraisers. Do you want to be 60,001? I know I do, all right? Blending executive coaching, behavior design, and strategic fundraising. Her book, come on, author, with the fundraising, explores how shifting away from strategic explores. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just getting so excited, okay? Her book also takes everything that she's learned to the next level, all right? At Captivated, which Mallory founded in 2024, again, come on, founder. She continues to drive innovation in fundraising through technology, coaching, and science-backed strategies. Come on, that means she's not flying by night, okay? If y'all haven't looked into Captivated, y'all get yourselves together, okay? Get ready. If you're ready to fundraise with confidence and alignment, Mallory's work is for you. And next we have Mr. Nathan Chappell. Yes, it's as fancy as it sounds. Come on, and he's as fancy as it sounds. I love that. Nathan Chappell is the co-founder of Fundraising.AI and Chief AI Officer, come on, Chief, at Virtuous. He is widely recognized as a leading authority on the intersection of artificial intelligence and philanthropy. He co-authored the award-winning Generosity Crisis and Nonprofit AI, and his 2018 TEDx talk on AI and the future of generosity was among the first to spotlight its role in social good. Come on, first at the front line, okay? He founded Fundraising.AI to promote responsible and beneficial AI adoption in the nonprofit space, and his insights have been featured by NPR, Fast Company, Forbes, the Chronicle of Philanthropy, and the Nonprofit Times. Y'all, if that don't get you excited, I don't know what will, okay? Please help me. Welcome to the stage, my good friends, Mallory Erickson and Nathan Chappell.
Good morning. I don't even know how we follow Floyd.
We don't. You know, when we were talking about who could be the host of this year's, Global Summit, Floyd was, of course, at the top, but we really didn't think through having to come on after Floyd because that's just a horrible thing to do. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you. Go ahead.
Well, I was thinking, based on the chat, the number of people that would buy a Floyd GPT to just like wake them up in the morning. I mean, it's a gold mine. Like, I mean, that's all we have to do, to fund next year's summit. So thank you, Floyd. That was just an amazing opening to what's going to be an amazing 2 days.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I was thinking I'm in Pacific Standard Time. So for all those other California or Hawaii folks, I've been up since 5 a.m. and I was like, how am I going to get my energy up for this session? And I forgot that we have Floyd. So now I'm ready to roll.
Energy up. The bar is high.
The bar is high, but we are so excited to have all of you here. Welcome to the 3rd annual Fundraising.AI Summit. Nathan and I are so excited to get to kick off today with you. And we're doing this a little bit differently. So we're not going to have slides. We're really doing this as an open conversation. We're both podcasters. So we really love those like curious questions. And to be honest, things are changing so fast that every time we started to put things together, a month out, 2 months out, a few weeks out, we were like, well, what's going to be happening the day that's really going to matter the most in terms of how we frame up and get y'all ready to go through these next 2 days, learning a lot, feeling good, really focusing on the action and the things that you can take back. So let's just I feel like we need to level set a little bit though, Nathan, because I can't believe it's been 3 years now doing this work together. And there are probably a lot of people on here, it's sort of hitting me, that haven't heard the origin story of Fundraising.AI or don't even know about how it came to be. So do you want to kick us off and just give everyone the backstory, and then we can talk more about these next 2 days?
Yeah, I think that's amazing. I think a lot of people don't even know what Fundraising.AI is, and Floyd and I were talking earlier this morning, about this idea of like grassroots efforts, which is, really what, I mean, nonprofits kind of represent, but like this idea that we are actually not a nonprofit, we are not a for-profit, we are essentially a grassroots effort that, fortunately, Giving Tuesday is our fiscal sponsor and it passes through money, but yeah, we just exist to like pour into people, and we're just a community. So yeah, the backstory, in fact, until I spend a little bit of time to reflect on it, I just forget how much we've achieved. So back in 2017, 2018, when I started working in machine learning, AI, ML, I understood that there's a tremendous potential for good, but also tremendous potential for harm, and started talking about this idea of fundraising.ai way before ChatGPT. But it wasn't until GPT came out November 30th, 2022, that really anyone cared about kind of quote unquote the responsible side. Very, very few. I mean, there were like 7 of us, probably. And but then, you were at a meeting in January of 2023. So just about 60 days after ChatGPT came out. I posted about this on LinkedIn this morning. So I just had to pause and reflect. And the meeting had a completely different tenor. Like we were, it's now known as the famous beignet meeting. So we had, because we were in New Orleans, we had beignets and coffee at like 7 a.m. Didn't know who was going to come. And a pretty good number, maybe 50, 60 people showed up. And that's essentially a meeting that launched this idea. It was, really centered around this idea that we were going to truly, we were going to see the pace of technology advance at speeds that we had never seen before, that we knew that AI was inevitable for the future of nonprofits. We knew that it was a moral imperative that nonprofits leverage any type of technology to amplify their mission, but that we needed to do it in a safe and responsible way. And at the time, I got pretty big into AI governance. I'd spent months actually looking for an AI governance policy globally that would satisfy kind of the uniqueness of what nonprofits represent, which is essentially organizations that trade money for trust. And there was no framework that existed. And so that meeting really set in motion. If you remember, actually, and we'll talk about your part of this origin story because I think it's fascinating that fundraising AI started not as something that we would ever do a summit. It was really to create a framework essentially that the nonprofit sector could use. So just an open source framework that anybody in the nonprofit sector globally could take and modify and adapt to serve, their interests and their own community well. And it just blossomed from that point. So it's pretty amazing to think that from in 3 years, so we pulled that summit off in like 6 months. In that amount of time, we have produced 3 now summits with I don't know how many hundreds of presentations that are all in video and completely free and open source that live on our website. We started a podcast that's on episode 70 something like that, 65, 70. We've provided free resources like downloadable templates and glossaries and all kinds of things. So that's for those that don't know what fundraising AI is. I kind of joke that it's like it's everything and nothing. It's not a nonprofit. It's not a for-profit. It is just literally like the purest sense of people that come together. They work really hard. They don't get paid, and we find so much joy in bringing community together. So, Mallory, why don't you go and share, because you and I, frankly, we had met before. We had met before that, and that was an interesting meeting because I think you thought I was a total tool because I wrote a book called The Generosity Crisis. And I had to convince you that it wasn't a book, it wasn't a bad book, but it was a book of hope. Um, but then shortly after that, you were in this beignets meeting, and for some reason, you felt compelled to get involved. And I think that's what started all this.
Yeah, well, when I was hearing you say that, like, fundraising AI is everything and nothing, I think for the folks on this call, like, fundraising AI is you. Like, this is fundraising AI. Like, it's all of us. And I was in a room hearing about AI, not being a technologist, being somebody who's normally super timid around technology, very uncertain around technology, very nervous about the way technology can remove humans from all sorts of positions, and definitely wasn't somebody who felt confident around the role that AI was going to play in the nonprofit sector. And so sitting in that room in New Orleans, I was just doing a lot of like, wait. And then after the meeting, really wanted to get involved and volunteer. I think because Nathan, you and everybody else in there really created this space that's like, this is for us, by us, and I think it made me realize what I really want to impart on folks here too is like that same kind of hand raising, that same desire to get involved, that same desire to play a role in what shapes AI in our sector, in your organization, like that's really available to everybody. And I just happened to raise my hand in that moment, and then got the like privilege of collaborating with Nathan to build the first summit and support around the framework. And really, all of that was because of this community, because of the people who are in this room, because of the people speaking over these next 2 days. So it's been such a privilege. And when we started this, we always said we'll do it for as long as it's necessary, so much. And I'm sure everybody on here is experiencing this too. Things are happening so fast and changing so fast, and that can feel really overwhelming. And I think we went into this really with just an open mind and a orientation towards service of the sector. And we're like, we're going to keep doing this, and we're going to keep showing up, and we're going to keep gathering people and providing resources for as long as it's needed. And while those needs have maybe changed in terms of what exactly they are, I think a lot of people are feeling more than ever almost that we need to be having this summit today, right now, with everything that's happening around us. So I don't know if you want to kick off that piece around kind of like what is the state of the sector. I think for folks who are
Yeah.
coming in who have their own experiences, all of you have your own orientation to AI, you're at your own position in your journey. We really recommend that over these next 2 days, you're looking at the schedule, bookmarking the sessions that feel the most relevant and important to you. You do not need to digest everything. You do not need to go to every single session. We want you to take care of yourself. We want you to take what you need. We want you to ignore what you don't need, but we also want to sort of frame up the context in which all of these sessions are happening in. So here's a little like macro view of the state of the sector today.
Yeah, no, I think that's so great, Mallory, and I'm so grateful for you kind of stepping up in your discomfort. And I remember you just walking up to me at the end. And you're like, "I'm not a technologist. I don't really understand a lot of the things that are happening, but I want to help." Can you, before we get into those meta observations, can you share kind of the impetus for why you wanted to help? Because I
Hmm.
do think that actually sheds light on from a macro perspective, a meta perspective, and I'll talk kind of about the global trends in AI development. But I think it's important for people to understand kind of the gravity that you were coming to that conversation with.
Yeah, I mean, I think early on, even without really understanding what it was, I felt like AI could change everything. And I think I was worried about what how it would change everything without the participation of the folks on the ground. And I work with a lot of small, mid-sized organizations. A lot of the folks in the room were technologists or worked with bigger organizations. And I felt like there was a bit of a disconnect between how people in the room were talking about AI and what they were seeing and what I was hearing from nonprofits, right? Like in that room, I think there was like a lot of excitement, a lot of possibility and opportunity. And what I was hearing from small organizations, mid-sized organizations, was like tremendous overwhelm. And so I was like, okay, there's a space here that we need to fill, a gap that we need to fill in. And it's both, right? Like AI is both overwhelming and a tremendous opportunity. And we need to be able to hold that nuance. And I felt like, I always say that my work sort of sits at the intersection of fundraiser, overwhelm, and enablement. And so I felt like this was a unique moment where I really could support, where I really understood both of those pieces, and I felt like I had some skills that could help. And I just am not somebody who likes to feel at the effect of her life. And so I felt like there was a big thing happening. I was nervous about how it might happen. And the best thing that I could do would be to play a role in it and advocate for the way my values and the way that I thought it could support the sector and do as little harm as possible.
Well, and I think the other part that you brought to me was because all of that, in addition, as a parent of, I guess at the time, one young child, as a citizen of humanity that is going to be, part of this, being part of that discussion and ensuring that as we think about AI being a mirror to humanity, you being present in that, for your children. And so I think for a lot of us that got involved in this, like we are fundraisers, we're professionals. I spent 20 years as a professional fundraiser, kind of as an accidental fundraiser because I was a technologist before. But we see ourselves being very thoughtful about our organizations and responsible for our organizations. But the difference with nonprofit professionals is that we carry a bigger burden. We carry a burden for the sector overall. And that doesn't mean in the US or in Canada or in Australia. That means globally that for any social good organizations, like we essentially carry that mantle. And that was what this entire movement was about. So as we were talking in advance of this, kind of from a meta perspective. So I started working in AI ML, which is machine learning side, predictive AI, back in 2017, focus on how do we measure and quantify connection between a person and organization. The things that we saw around AI back in 2017, 2018, then to 2019, 2020, 21, 22 have changed a little bit. And it's kind of interesting to reflect back because when back in 2017, 2018, we're talking about predictive AI. So this is before generative AI. We saw a lot of concerns about things like privacy and security. So one of the biggest limitations or the biggest concerns about AI at that time was not essentially replacing jobs. It wasn't about replacing humanity. It wasn't about AI that was seemingly conscious or AI that appeared to be empathetic with you because that didn't exist. But what did exist was a tremendous potential for bias. And so privacy and security were kind of that first, like, well, is data safe? Is it not? And then that moved right into ethics. And so from the AI ethics perspective, like, were we creating algorithms that were perpetuating bias? And at the time, there actually wasn't a really good way of essentially measuring and monitoring bias. And so, we started talking about this a lot, like what would it take to be able to measure bias? And so we ended up realizing that there had to be better way than just looking at code that was making decisions, that we had to create a transparent layer on top of what decisions were being made. And this is where the nonprofit sector really deviated, because the private sector, if they're selling telephones or tennis shoes, didn't really matter. From the stakes were pretty low from that perspective. But in the nonprofit sector that operates in the currency of trust, things like bias, privacy, security, and bias and ethics mattered a lot. And so we became really strong advocates for what we call basically transparent, explainable AI. That really referred to that first wave of where the nonprofit sector took a left turn and said, look, just because it's fine in the for profit sector doesn't mean it's fine in the nonprofit sector, that we have to hold ourselves to a higher level of accountability. And that made us really rethink things like intellectual property. And instead of patenting AI models, which we had done before that, which was basically that no model really should be fully, or it should not be transparent. That we should be able to fully explain and interrogate a model that is essentially operating in that currency of trust. And so we got to the point of really recognizing, figuring out how to do that. So we, after that point, didn't build a model after that we couldn't fully explain what it was doing. So, moving from privacy, security, ethics, adoption it has been increasing quite a bit. And then we move into the environment. I'm really excited that, and I don't say these are excuses. Privacy, security, ethics, environment have not been excuses, but they are governors that the nonprofit sector has looked at along the way very thoughtfully to say, what are the biggest considerations that we need to think about? And when I reflect and look at the summit this year's summit, I don't know that we really had a session on the environment last year. It was environment light because it wasn't on top of everyone's mind. But this year, we have an incredible session that's going to be on the environment with Kaz McGrath, who we just all love, that are going to dive deep into that complex issue. And so, when I think about where we're at today, we're moving from like high adoption. About 80% of nonprofit professionals are using some form of AI, but they're not using it strategically. I think when we look ahead to the rest of 2025 and 2026, I think we're going to move from this novelty form of AI to a form of AI that is highly strategic and thoughtful in terms of what you're trying to achieve. So I think we're kind of done with the let's play AI kind of mode of things and moving into, okay, well, we're comfortable enough with this. what are the things that we're trying to achieve? How do I gain the knowledge and the experience that I need to actually get to the next level? And how do I use AI not just reactively but proactively from that perspective? So I don't know. What are your thoughts on kind of state of AI today and kind of where we're going?
Yeah, I started to drop in the chat also some of the different topics and sessions over the next few days that were related to AI, trust, ethics, everything that you were sharing. And I want to make sure we share the environmental one as well. Somebody hopefully can drop that in there, because I think I'm seeing a ton of comments around this
Yeah.
aligning with people's biggest concerns, or really what they're coming here to learn. And so and make sure like I saw somebody in the chat say, that their team or maybe staff's biggest resistance is around environmental concerns. Like, send the panels. You don't have to
Yeah.
send the whole conference to people, but you could say, hey, this panel is on the topic you're the most interested in. Send it to your friends, your colleagues, your coworkers. Like, the best thing that we can do is use these topics and these conversations to open up more of this nuanced conversation. I think, similar to you, I'm seeing I'm seeing more adoption than ever, but not necessarily with the level of intentionality or kind of problem awareness that I would hope. I feel like as the climate we're in has gotten increasingly stressful, as funding has gotten even more stressful, as our stress response has increased, and me, I'm always talking about like nervous system dysregulation. We actually bring less kind of filters to our decision making. So I feel like adoption has become more of this kind of reactionary, shiny object syndrome in a lot of cases, as opposed to being able to slow down, think about the biggest challenges that we have, and make, responsible decisions really based on our biggest pain points. I mean, I think I'd be curious what you think about this, but I feel like, nonprofits are dealing with so many challenges all at once. And I know when I was an ED or managing director, if you had said, what are all your challenges? I could have listed like 45 different things. And I feel like we're in this stage of AI where like there's an AI tool for all of it. But should you have 45 AI tools? No. And probably not the 45 AI tools that are getting marketed to you as the most urgent things that are going to change your life in, the next 3 hours if you just download them. So I think there's this like really important layer of like inquiry and like problem awareness around your organization, and really prioritizing some of your biggest challenges, and then looking for the solutions that align with those challenges. Some of those solutions might include AI, some of them might not be, and that's like the shift in decision making that I would love to see, that I just haven't felt like I've seen yet in the
Yeah.
environment we're in.
Yeah, from that macro perspective, if I, been a drumbeat of fundraising AI since the beginning, but I think it's louder than ever. It's this idea that AI, technology, but largely through AI because of its nature of being recursive self improvement nature. Essentially, it doesn't require humans to essentially
Hmm.
advance anymore, right? It's AI assisted, so the pace of innovation is happening so much faster. Is kind of this drumbeat that FAI where we stand aside the nonprofit sector is that just because we can do something doesn't mean we should. And there's so many comments in this in the chat that are just like blowing up about consent and the environment and copyright and all these things, all those things, like all of those things. And I just want to give people the clarity, but also the permission to say, and this is largely done through AI governance. That's why I spend a lot of time in AI governance. Is creating some sort of like AI governance policy will give you permission to say no collectively as an organization, and that's totally okay. Not only okay, that's actually highly advisable for us to really safeguard what's pure and true about the nonprofit sector and not use that crisis response. Your brain is just saying I'm behind, or there's too many things going on and I need to catch up, or I have to take a shortcut because I've had these funding cuts. We could do a lot of harm to this industry if we take those shortcuts. So just be okay with saying no. Mustafa Solomon, who's at Microsoft, and he was one of the founders of Google DeepMind, wrote in his book The Coming Wave about 2 years ago that basically said this is going to be the most productive decade in the history of human species. But It's about how and when we say no collectively that will make the difference. And so be okay with that as you learn and absorb and reflect, that there is not, you know, anyone that's pushing you to do things that are outside of your values, that allow your values of your organization and you personally have never been more important. So take time to shore up your
Mhm.
personal values, shore up your corporate values, your organizational values, and then only then align AI to essentially complement those values and be okay with saying no. I think that's where we, if I reflect to, so Chiri and Koshi and I will be doing a session later today. We did a study last year. People that know that origin story, Cherry and I were essentially competitors, and we were in the street one day in DC, and we were like, "Gosh, over the last couple of years, we've made so many assumptions about AI and nonprofits using AI, but it literally we stopped walking in the middle of the street, which I don't advise anyone. So don't do what we did.
I found you there.
We just did. Right. Yeah, we were still in the street because I think we literally stopped in our tracks and thinking, "But who's asked the donors?" And so last year we interviewed 1,000 donors and we had this donor perception survey. We have a new report this year, so it's the first longitudinal study on donor perception of AI, and there's some really 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 interesting things there. But I think while we're distilling all this, like you're learning about what you should and shouldn't do, and like learning how to level up your AI, don't forget that your most important constituent are, and from a fundraising perspective, are the ones that are actually interacting with your organization, and make sure that you're engaging them in these conversations as well. This is a year where opportunity meets caution. And we go from like curiosity to conditional optimism with donors. And we saw a major shift. Not going to give away all the good stuff because Cherry and I are covering it later with a bunch of really great statistics. But essentially, donors are very, very much in favor of you using AI, but using it in ways that are probably a little different than the way you think they are. But also, we're moving into an era of in the end of 2025 and definitely 2026 where things like transparency about what you're doing are going to be absolutely like crucial, for the future of your organization, the future of um, of our sector overall. So with all that to say, I know we've like been going on a little bit. Do you want to cover like kind of any myths and bust any myths that we constantly, you and I do a lot of sessions on AI, and people I think you routinely come to us, we're like, but is this true? Like, is AI, going to continue to grow, or is it going to destroy the environment? Do you want to cover a couple of myths and then we'll hand it back over to Floyd?
Yeah. So, I actually, this is not a myth that we put on this sheet, but it feels really important to talk about, which is the myth that you are bad at AI. So something Nathan and I did a training like a few months ago now, and I was really surprised by how many people had gotten a bad result in Chat GBT or Claude or Canva trying to make an image, and they had assumed that because of that result they were bad, right? That, okay, I don't know how to prompt AI, and I'm not saying that there you can't improve prompt engineering and things like that, but this myth that you aren't good and you can't get good at using these tools in a way that's helpful and supportive for you. And so that's actually like the first myth I want to bust, because as somebody who's not a technologist and who has spent her entire life saying I'm bad at technology, I think one of the things that I have really learned in using AI is that it gets to like grow and adjust with me, that when your first result isn't the one that you're looking for, you refine from there, you get more curious. I put my questions on how to use AI in AI, right?
Yeah.
So like and I think that's the other thing that maybe we haven't highlighted, is that it was super important that the title of this year's summit was Amplify Impact Human Centered AI for Nonprofits.
Yeah.
Everything that you're going to hear over these next 2 days are the relationship between this technology and you, or this technology and your donors. There is no humans absent of the way that we are talking about AI. And that's just such a critical piece of this puzzle, because I think it both has to do with the ways that you talk to yourself and the way that you support yourself to be able to use these tools and continue to iterate and learn and all of those things. And I think it has a lot of influence on how we think about myths, because a lot of the myths that I would say about AI, well, whether or not those myths are true, are a little bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy about how engaged we get, right? Like the AI alone might not do certain harms, but if none of us participate in advocating for certain things or trying to guide the technology in particular directions or being change agents in this work, like we just have to be in the driver's seat a little bit more. So that might be
Yeah.
the first like big myth I start with. And then do you want to say your next favorite?
Well, no, I think that's a great one to start with because I think that misnomer that you have to be a data scientist because you used to have to be, right? I
Mhm.
mean, pre November 30th, 2022, the day that ChatGPT came out, you actually needed to know Python, you either needed to understand data science and probably a little bit of math. AI was not very transparent. And, I don't do training on AI anymore because the thing is like for a person, it's not about like even how to write a better prompt. It's about changing the way you think.
Mm,
And so Scott Rosencrantz and I, implemented lots of custom AI over the last number of years together and helped a lot of organizations. And we found that success or failure had very little to do with data and models, it had to do with people and culture. And
mm,
so I think approaching this from a curiosity mindset, being rooted in values, I really, for our sector, and this is going to be my drumbeat for this next year, it's going to be for our sector, human first, AI forward. And
mm,
so in the private sector, it's AI first mindset. It's got AI first mindset is that how can AI help with everything? And in our sector, I think actually we need to take one step back and put a condition there. It's human first, but AI forward. And so, you don't need to be a data scientist. You need to just change the way you think. It's not about trying new and better tools. It's not about spending more money than anyone else. It's about,
mm,
being open to what possibilities exist. And, in all reality, we haven't seen anything yet. I spend a lot of time on the future of AI, obviously. And so I'm much less concerned and curious about what's happening today. I spend a lot more time thinking about
mm.
3 and 5 years from now. And if anyone wants to stay up at night with me, just feel free to text at 2 in the morning, and we'll probably both be thinking about all these things. But all to say is that, yeah, the barriers that I think were barriers are no longer there, right? Anyone can show up, and with a willingness and openness, the best thing that you can ever do if you're stuck today, this is your first AI session ever and you're not sure how AI can help you with your job, all you have to do is ask it.
Mm,
Like, it's not any harder. Just show up and be like, this is what I do for a living, and these are the kind of tasks that I like and the things I don't like. Like, what are the ways in which you can help me? And so, yeah. So that myth is that AI is for everyone, but to do it in a way that is human first and AI forward, I think is going to be really imperative.
mm,
Um, I think the other thing, because I know we're going to run out of time, but um, I still get a lot of skepticism about the pace of innovation. So, I mean, just we're talking about the pace of like truly like information. In the early 1900s, information doubled every 100 years. By 1950, information was doubling every 25 years. Information now doubles every 12 hours. But by 2027, 28, information will double every few hours. A lot of people will come to me and say, hey, like, I think we're going to plateau. Like the pace of innovation is not sustainable. It's going to plateau. We're going to run out of data. Maybe this is a fad. There's a quote unquote, a lot of AI hype, the pace is going to slow down so then I can slow down. In all reality, that is an entire myth. I mean, the one thing that I want to disabuse everyone of for the next 2 days is that we're talking about AI today in terms of like baby AI. This is AI that essentially has not reached maturity. Where it's a teenager. It's like highly irrational and irritable, and it can be filled with brilliance one moment and completely irresponsible the next moment. Like get hallucinations and things. But the pace of innovation will drive progress very, very quickly. And so this is why also we need to be part of this conversation because if AI is a mirror to humanity, we need to make sure that the best part of humanity is really represented in that mirror. That's why from the moral imperative side of it. But this isn't going away. So if you're kind of coming to this session or to this summit, like, oh, I'm going to learn a little bit and I think we're done, um I want to disabuse you of that. Like this will continue on, and the good thing is you don't need to be a data scientist. You need to come with an open mind like you were just talking about. And so I think that's the other myth is like, this is just the beginning. And, we are going to be in a constant stage of adaptability and adaptation forever. And so we need to really figure out how to support our brains in adopting to that, kind of constant change.
Mm. Yeah, I think Floyd's going to come on in a minute and ask us a few questions. It sounds like there have been so many good ones in the chat, and I'm excited. All the activity I'm seeing there, I think folks are going to get a lot out of the next 2 days. And I think you're right. I think that's a super, like, for my orientation around kind of like stress management and mindset work and all those executive coaching pieces. The mindset piece here, the embracing of curiosity, and the constant curiosity, right? The wondering around what might be next, or would it be possible to, like, that piece has never been more important, because you're not in an either or situation. You don't either understand AI or you don't. I'm the CEO of an AI company and I know this much about AI, and every day I'm learning. Or my husband was asking me some question the other night and I was like, I actually don't know that much about that. Like, I want to find more time to, like, get curious about that use case. So I think forever, just to, like, level set that, like, that the whole purpose is to, like, just start to open up curiosity. And even if curiosity is
Mhm.
around how you create an environmental policy for your organization, I have this in my business and in my personal life where there are some things I use AI for and there are other things that I don't use AI for. There are some things I use certain models for that take more energy, and other things I use models that take a lot less energy for. You are in charge,
Yeah.
right? Like, all we want is for you to realize your agency, to embrace that mindset of curiosity, to think about the different challenges that you're facing and recognize that there are tools that might not have been accessible to you 2 months ago, 6 months ago, 2 years ago. And Nathan, you always say this, which I, so appreciate, like, any strategy that you had prior to when ChatGPT came out is outdated at this point. And I just don't want folks to, like, lose access to everything that could really, really impact their day-to-day lives and experiences and fundraising and mission achievement, by getting stuck in some of these, like,
Yeah,
binary ways of thinking.
absolutely. Love it. All right. So is Floyd coming back?
Floyd, you gonna ask us a few questions? I know maybe he's like, I can't choose, you guys. There's too many good ones.
Hello. Oh my goodness, y'all. Do you see every time I come, I have all my notes because it is so, so good. And one thing that I really want to point out that I've been seeing in the chat and also seeing amongst you all, why are we talking about all these different things? Remember the theme of this year's conference: amplify impact. Amplify impact. It's not just about, oh, I need you to get hip on these latest tools and trends, and I just need you to know. What Nathan Chappell said is so imperative. AI is shaping the future of how we live and interact in a day-to-day basis. We are human-centered beings. We are building a world for belonging. We have to be at the forefront of this movement. We can't just be tailing on the sidelines. We can't just be looking out and saying, oh, look at that, that's cool. We can't just be behind the scenes. We have to be moving this forward. We have to be propelling this forward. And each and every one of us on this call can play a role. Two things that I love that y'all said. Mallory said, get in the driver's seat. And that just made me say, what is driving your life? What is driving your mission? Is it fear-focused driving? Is it fear? Or is it saying, hey, I know that it is my duty to be the best that I can be. I know that my mission has the power to change my community, to change my neighborhood, to change the people that I interact with on a day-to-day, right? You get to decide, though. You have agency. You get to be in the driver's seat. So, y'all, let me stop yapping because there's so much good stuff here. Okay. Oh, one other thing. Human first, AI forward. Come on, somebody. That's a word right there. Get that on a tweet. Okay. Okay, hold on. Or should I say an XX? Okay. All right. I took good pictures. This is from Kylie Stepner. Okay. Nathan referenced using AI proactively versus reactively. Can we dive deeper into that? I generally use it as a Q&A or support tool. How do I move past that and make the most out of the tools? And the reason why I selected that question is because I think it's actually touching on a deeper thing, what Kylie was talking about. In my opinion, I always say you have to get clear why you are here. You have to get clear why you are here, because AI will take it to the next level. So what y'all think about that?
Yeah. Real quick, I'll share. There's actually an MIT study that's pretty recent, a few weeks old, that showed that about 95% of companies that tried to deploy AI have not seen the ROI in their initiatives, and so they started looking at the 5% that really succeeded. And the difference is that the 95% just kind of threw up AI over everything. They just like everybody use AI for all the things, and it became, and this is where Mallory talks a lot about this state of overwhelm. There's just like constant overwhelm. It just becomes everything and nothing. But the 5% that really succeeded in their adoption and saw a true benefit from an ROI perspective are those that had basically looked at from a strategic lens of what are we trying to achieve, which forms of AI are best enabled to help us achieve those goals, and then to move upward and outward from there. And so I think being really intentional about your use of AI from a strategic perspective versus just a kind of horizontal enabling layer that just does everything and helps people write better emails. This is actually something that I know Kaz McGrath is going to be covering, and I think in the Fundraising AI Plus is really going from a reactive type of AI to a proactive, more strategic version of AI. And I think that's going to be the biggest shift over the next end of 2025 and definitely through 2026. I'll try to find that study for everyone. It's been posted on LinkedIn like a million times. Definitely worth checking out.
I love that. And this last question that I think is a really good question, and I'll pass it to you, Mallory, before we all go to throughout our day. But this one is from Sean Murtha. Sean says, Nathan and Mallory, as a participant, there is so much to learn, so many sessions to attend. How do we set our expectations to get the most out of this conference where we are at in our journey? And I'm passing this to you specifically, Mallory, because of what you said of, it's not your job to master everything, right? You need to know what is for you and what to leave behind. So I'm gonna pass that to you, Mallory. How can people really take advantage of these next 2 days?
Okay, so this is going to maybe be not what you expected me to say, but I want you, before you go into the schedule tab, I want you to close your eyes and I want you to put your hand on your chest. And I want you to think about if you had to pick the 3 biggest challenges in your organization, like in your leadership, like the 3 biggest pain points. What are they? And I don't want you to look at any schedule before then. I don't want you to look at the titles. I don't want you to look at anything. I want you to like tap in, write it down on a piece of paper with a pencil or a pen. I know it's shocking. Hopefully, you have something nearby. Write it down next to you. Then go into the schedule and look for the sessions that answer those questions. That is what puts you in the driver's seat. That's what has you being proactive instead of reactive. It starts inside of you. You know what you need better than anybody else, okay? And then maybe don't go to the sessions that don't apply to you. Go do something else. Go for a freaking walk. Connect with somebody you care about. Like recognize that like learning a lot means that you need time to rest, to come back into your body, to process how you're feeling, to let it digest. So start with you, start inside, then find what you need, and then take care of yourself during the rest of the time.
If that's not a word, I don't know what is. If
Love
that's not a word, I don't know what is. Thank you, Mallory. Thank you, Nathan. Yes, I want to see hearts. I want to see all the things in the chat. Bless them before they go off in the rest of the day, because these two are anchors and holding it down for the rest of this conference. Thank you all both so much. All right, y'all. How good was that? That was incredible. If you loved what you got, because I know I did. Okay, good. Look at my notebook. All right. I want y'all to let us know your feedback. What is important? We love to know. And please let us know. Take a scan of that QR code and fill us in, okay? All right, y'all. Coming up next, we have some amazing sessions coming up next. On the Amplify Impact stage, right here with me, come on somebody, building ethical AI and fundraising solutions, okay? This one is sponsored by Microsoft and it is CFRE approved, okay? On the innovation stage, you're gonna get to talk to OpenAI. Come on, ChatGPT, right in front of your eyes, all right? OpenAI Academy, AI Essentials for Nonprofit Fundraising, and that as well is CFRE certified. And then on the impact stage, no jargon, just action. Come on, so I love that. No jargon, just action. Build your AI governance plan with Scott from Donor Search. Okay, Scott from Donor Search. And also, don't forget, you can view the schedule. Now is the time, all right? Get ready to join your next session. Click on the schedule, top right corner of your screen. You're gonna see all the sessions coming up and you can join any sessions that are live. And y'all, that's it for this session to kick things off, okay? There is so much more in store over the next 2 days. Again, check out the schedule and choose your favorite one and come back and join me here again on the Amplify stage, all right? Y'all, I love you, I'm proud of you, and I can't wait to see all that you're getting ready to learn, okay? I'll see you soon.